I'm about to work on this puzzle. It is the world's smallest 1,000-piece puzzle. This is what the picture looks like, and the pieces are so tiny. They're really, really cute. I've done this puzzle maybe 2 or 3 times already, and it's really the only one I can do in the condo right now because we just don't have the space, and we have Truffle and Lulu. Lulu, I think, would leave the puzzle alone if it was on the ground, but Truffle would definitely chew up the pieces. This is a tabletop puzzle that I'm gonna do on hubby's table while we watch the old Raptors playoff run. The first thing I do when I start a puzzle is I take out all of these edge pieces. I look until I feel like I have the majority of them, and then I start grouping them by color and putting them together. One thing I don't like to do when I'm doing a puzzle is to look at the image. So I like to keep this somewhere else. I don't know why that is. I've always done puzzles that way, but I really don't like to refer to that. Once I've picked out all the edge pieces and done the border, I'll start just grouping things by color. I feel like I do puzzles in a way that's very standard, but I'd be curious to know, for those of you who like puzzles, if you do them the same way, because I think I have seen a partially completed puzzle before, and I was really confused because none of the edges were really in place. They were kind of like here and there, but it was mostly the picture. So I don't think everyone does it the same way as me, picking out all the edge pieces first, but I feel like the majority would do it that way. So I'd be curious to know how you guys do your puzzles. And this is the bun I was telling you guys about. So I had a nice Epsom salt bath tonight, and I just put my hair in a bun, but you can see that I have pieces hanging down because my hair is not long enough to all go up. So yeah, I'm gonna keep at it and see how much I can get done. It's been about 10 minutes and I've picked out these pieces. I actually love going through the pieces and picking out the edges. I find it really soothing. I never get them all on the first pass, but I think I have the majority of them. So I'm gonna start putting them together and see if I can make the complete border. I'm usually missing maybe like a handful, and then eventually I find them as I'm going through and working on other bits of the puzzle, but I'm going to get started putting the pieces together now. I love going through the pieces and finding the ones I need, and I also love, of course, the act of putting them together. So I've got the border pretty much done. I am missing probably up to 10 pieces, so as I go through, I'll start finding those and I'll be able to fill them in. Hey everyone, it is Sunday morning and I am working on the puzzle. For me, the problem with puzzles is once I start one, I become almost obsessed with it and I want to work on it all the time. So I stayed up a little bit late last night. I think I went to bed just after midnight because I wanted to keep working on the puzzle. And then this morning, all I wanted to do was work on the puzzle. But hubby and I did go out and we got our steps in. We ended up wearing masks today because we wanted to go to the grocery store at the end of our walk. I'm drinking my green smoothie. My tea today is an Earl Grey and it's really good. This one's from the tea house and I really like it. So I'm gonna get back to it and I will catch up with you guys a little bit later. Yay, I just finished the puzzle. It is Sunday, I think around like 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. It is Monday today and I'm feeling really good. I wasn't feeling so hot yesterday. Physically fine. I'm not feeling like I'm coming down with anything. I spent a lot of time on the couch this weekend and also doing that puzzle, which the puzzle is a tricky thing because I love doing puzzles, but as I mentioned in one of my previous clips, I get a little bit obsessive about them and I can't stop until it's done. So thankfully this was a tiny puzzle. I mean, it was 1,000 pieces, but it was physically tiny, so it was easy to do because it was tabletop. A bigger puzzle I usually do on the ground, so that like really hurts my neck and shoulder area. Maybe because I was relaxing by doing the puzzle and we also watched a lot of TV this weekend, I just felt very sluggish. I just felt zero motivation to do anything. So what I did was I did morning pages in the evening, and I started writing out some stuff I wanted to do, and that made me feel better. I tend to feel a bit better when I'm on the more productive side, but still have that time for relaxation, whereas other people might need more relaxation time and not be pushing themselves to be super productive. But again, everyone's different, so you have to find that balance that works for you. And for me, this weekend was a little bit too much on the relaxation side. I was on my phone a lot, I was doing the puzzle, and I was watching TV. I didn't feel like cooking. I didn't feel like doing work. I didn't feel like filming videos, even though I did film a few clips. I just didn't feel like doing much at all. And I mean, I guess you have to have times like that because that forces you into a state of relaxation. And maybe that's why I'm energized today, is because I went through that little valley of motivation, and I almost felt like a little bit down, but now I am back up again. Maybe I did need this weekend just to completely unwind, but today feels really good because the studio isn't that busy today. I've already gone on and responded to all of the emails that I have to respond to, except one, but it's more of a fun one that I can save for later. And now I feel like the day is wide open. It's 10:20 in the morning. I've already gotten 9,167 steps because I took a long walk this morning. I think I'm gonna make, I don't know if I'm gonna have yeah, I think I will. I'll have a green smoothie and maybe some chia seed pudding for breakfast. And I think I'm gonna try to do morning pages in the morning today, which is something I haven't done in a very long time. I typically save my morning pages now for the afternoon or evening because there are just so many things I wanna get done before noon. But today, I have time, so I'm going to do my morning pages early. I've also been experimenting with walking around and not going to the grocery store. So I've done it 2 times now. I did that on Saturday where I didn't go into a store at all. And then today I also walked around without the intention of going to the store. I'm slowly developing the habit because I still find I do need some sort of destination in mind. I'm not very good with walking around aimlessly. So I tried to plan out my route. Here's the Japanese curry I made for dinner tonight. I plated it like this to do a photo of it. And then when I was taking the photo, I saw that hubby plated his like this, which looks just like the one in Japan. So I took a photo of this as well, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to post yet. I'm also going to put this recipe on my website. It's taken from pressurecookrecipes.com. I think I only did a few modifications to it, but it's one of my favorite recipes. Hey everyone, it is Wednesday today, and the background is a little bit different because hubby and I pulled out my little coffee table / desk, and I'm sitting on the other side of it. Reason being, I have a work meeting this morning, but hubby is home today, so I'm sure he's gonna wanna go to the kitchen or to the bathroom, or maybe he'll want to go out for a run. So I thought rather than have him walk behind me while I'm doing this team meeting, because that's probably pretty distracting for people, I figured I would change the setup so he can walk on this side of me, so we won't see him going back and forth when I'm doing the call. So this is actually quite nice. Truffle didn't love it too much because he usually lies in the spot where I'm sitting right now. He was a little bit in a huff yesterday. He kept nudging me and just like scratching me, trying to get me to move, I guess. Now he's in his playpen. He's just chillaxing until probably around like early afternoon, and I'll let him out then. But I think I will keep the desk like this for a while. I like having access to stuff behind me. I used to not really be able to get at the cords and the other supplies I have behind the table because the table was in the way. So now I have easy access to everything. All my old hard drives are back here and all of that good stuff. And I can also see the TV better from here. I was experimenting with being on the computer last night while watching TV, and that was great. And I can also move to the other side if I want and face this side of the condo. So I think I'll leave it like this for now. I better get to my meeting, so I will see you guys later. Good morning, everyone. I am out on my morning walk, and I hope you can hear me well. I might be a bit muffled because I'm trying this homemade mask. It's a little bit hard to breathe in it, I'm not gonna lie. This is a scarf that I was wearing before as a scarf. I had it tied around my neck and I could pull it up at grocery stores and such. But I've decided to actually fashion it into a mask. I've got about 3 layers of the scarf covering my nose and mouth area. So it's a little bit difficult to breathe and hard to talk as well. Maybe I'll chat more when I get home. Just came back from my walk. I listened to a really good podcast today. I think there's a lot of confusion out there on whether or not going out for a walk is a good idea. Right now, in the city of Toronto anyway, it could be different where you are. Walks are actually allowed and they're recommended by public health. That being said, when you go out for a walk, you should probably go alone or with someone in your household. In other words, you're not going out to meet a friend for a walk and you're not going within 2 meters of someone as much as you can, of course. People do pass each other in the street and whatnot, and sometimes people do get a little bit close. Today, a jogger came right up against me. I was a little bit scared because he came like running past me and very close to me. So it was just like that shock factor. And I was also annoyed because he was breathing quite heavily and not wearing a mask. I was wearing a mask, but the mask really is to protect other people from yourself. I think there are 2 things here that are reversed in North America. I think sometimes we assume that people who are wearing masks are trying to protect themselves. And maybe that's the case. Maybe some people do try to protect themselves by wearing masks, but really the idea is to protect others. So wearing a mask is actually the altruistic thing to do in a large society where a virus is going around. So that's the one thing that I feel is a little bit reversed right now, just based on conversations. I mean, this is all anecdotal, but the other thing I feel is reversed in North America is that you're more scared of a person who's wearing a mask, whereas that person is probably less of a risk to you than someone who isn't wearing a mask and is maybe jogging or breathing on you or like talking to you. There are other things besides masks that I wanted to chat about. This lotion, which I showed in my last video, is really good. This is by Andalou Naturals and it's the 1000 Roses body lotion. It's got a really lovely rose scent. It's very soft and creamy, yet not greasy to the touch, and it absorbs super quickly. It doesn't make me itchy. It's just very, very lovely. The scent is so nice. It doesn't trigger my scent allergies. The other thing I want to talk about is the Ordinary product. This is the oil that I showed in my last haul as well, the Hemi-Squalane. And interestingly enough, I thought I had the Squalane, but I actually had the Hemi-Squalane already. I've had both, and I didn't realize that I had bought this to try before. I thought I was seeing it for the first time for some reason, maybe because it's been so long since I've looked at the Ordinary products, but this stuff is really nice. It's a very, very, very light oil, super duper light. It's almost like putting on a serum. I don't think this would be heavy enough for the wintertime, but for the summer, it's absolutely perfect. So I think I will put this in my regular rotation and use this more as like a spring, summer oil, and then transition into something heavier, maybe just the regular Squalane or the, I really love the marula oil, but it's often sold out. So maybe one of those for the fall and winter months. So I wanted to just give an update on these 2 products. Back to the podcast. I forgot I was actually talking about something before I got sidetracked with that whole like mask blah. The podcast I'm listening to is by the Toronto Star. It's called This Matters, but it's a new podcast and I have been loving it. It is very news focused, so very novel coronavirus focused. Focuses in on one particular aspect of the coronavirus, and it talks a little more in depth about that one thing with a bit of a storytelling element, which I really like. So today, the podcast I listened to was about should I go for a walk? And right now I was mentioning that Toronto Public Health does recommend that you go out for some sort of exercise. And of course, this recommendation is for people who aren't diagnosed with COVID-19, don't live with anyone with COVID-19, haven't come back from traveling, and who aren't immunocompromised, or if you're like an older person, you might not want to do that. But for someone who is completely asymptomatic and who is not in a high risk category, who hasn't traveled, they do recommend some physical activity every day, and that could include going out for a run or for a walk. The way I'm mitigating risk is that when I go out, I try not to go indoors anywhere anymore, at least not every day. I'm going to try to go to the grocery store only twice a week, and we'll see how that goes. I'm also doing my best not to touch anything, any surfaces whatsoever. And when I get home, I wash my hands immediately, and I just generally try to practice good hygiene above and beyond what I used to do. And of course, the most important part is staying away from people. For me, the daily walk is going to stay for the time being, unless we're told differently. But of course, like I mentioned a number of vlogs ago, I'm always adjusting and taking in new information and potentially tweaking my routine. So maybe down the road, I won't feel comfortable taking a daily walk, but right now I'm still comfortable with that, and it's still a really important part of my routine and the way I'm trying to keep my immunity up. Hubby and I ordered a bunch of stuff from Costco. This is the first of it. They're shipping stuff separately, so there are at least 2 more orders coming, because the first order that we made, they split into 2, it looks like. We got hemp hearts, food wrap, and Epsom salts. We very rarely order from Costco online, main reason being the prices are a little bit more than in the warehouse, but during this time, I don't really mind, because we don't really want to go rent a car and drive to the warehouse and be among people and potentially have to wait in line and all of that. So for the convenience, I don't mind at all. The other thing though about ordering online, they very rarely have the same stock. It's not the same as going to the warehouse. So in regular times, I would still rather go to the warehouse, because then we can buy salmon and we can buy meats and cheeses and things like that, which typically aren't available on Costco online. The other thing that I have to confess is that I don't love going to Costco, even though I love Costco and I love the products there and the pricing, the quality, everything about it is good. But the act of actually driving to Costco, even in non-pandemic days, is very, it's not the way I would spend my day. I don't love being in cars. I don't love giant warehouses. I don't love grocery shopping. I don't love crowds or lines or any of those things. So ordering online is actually quite a relief for me. But the flip side, of course, is what I talked about with the selection not being the same, and also the pricing. It's a trade-off, but for now, I am totally fine with ordering online. At least I got my Epsom salts, which I am all done. I've actually just run out. Gosh, I just finished vlogging and I noticed that Truffle fell asleep beside me, and he's like totally flopped out on his side. He's dreaming right now, so his ears are twitching and his eyes are kind of shut, which is different for him. I know this looks really freaky, but it actually means he's like super relaxed and he's dreaming. Oh, what a baby. You're so silly. Okay, I'll try not to wake him. I love it when he sleeps beside me. He's actually always done this ever since he was a little bunny. He used to sleep pressed up against me though, and now he prefers to have a little bit more space most of the time, although sometimes he will still sleep like right beside me. When I stopped vlogging, he woke up a bit and repositioned himself. Maybe he likes it when I talk. I don't know, that's very strange. He used to not like loud noises, and when I vlog, I'm actually pretty loud. But maybe he finds some comfort in knowing that I'm like beside him if I'm talking. So yeah, I want to rub his belly, but I don't want to startle him or wake him, so I'll just leave him be. Hey everyone, I'm out for my daily walk. There's no one around. It is Good Friday. CN Tower is behind me. This mask is so much more comfortable. I can breathe in it, I can talk in it. I don't know about the homemade mask. I think I need to tweak it a bit, but the way they show you how to do it, it just is not breathable. It's quite uncomfortable to wear. I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. Happy Easter long weekend. Hubby is working today, so I am having potatoes for dinner. I made the smashed potatoes with paprika and garlic powder, cayenne pepper, and lots of salt, and it is so good. This is probably my favorite potato recipe, and it's such a good stand-in for fries. I'm a huge fan of fries, and I used to eat them a lot. I used to crave them a lot, and also potato chips. But this is a slightly healthier alternative. I mean, they're baked and there's not much to them except for potatoes and a bit of oil. And of course, I'm having it with lots of sauce. I'm using ketchup and also Nando's peri peri sauce. This pan was full and I've already eaten this portion. I don't know if I'm gonna eat the whole pan. I may eat the whole pan just because they're just so delicious. And this is my dinner. It's only 4:30, but I have a fun call with my friend at 6 p.m. I did do a bit of studio work today, and I plan to do some the rest of the weekend as well, because hubby is working all weekend. I think I mentioned before that his schedule's really up in the air now, so it's hard to plan out what days he'll be off, but it's okay. I just take things day by day. When he's at work, I can have these little treats that I wouldn't typically make for dinner. I try to make something that we'll both enjoy on most days, but when he's working, that's when I have like peanut butter and crackers for dinner. Today I decided to have potatoes. Sometimes I'll just have like a sweet potato and some soup or something like that. If I had cereal in the condo, I'd probably have like a ton of cereal for dinner. I actually love cereal. That's why I don't buy it. Same with chips. If I have it in the condo, I'll just want to eat it all the time. I do plan to buy some Rice Krispies though, because I want to make Rice Krispie squares. But yeah, if I had like Fruit Loops, or if I had Honey Nut Cheerios, or any other type of sugary cereal, I would just eat that all the time. I love cereal for dinner. It's just one of my favorite things, but I know it's not that good for me, and it doesn't really satiate me. So I can eat a lot of it without ever really feeling full, and that's not really a good thing when it's all sugar. So I'd rather just have a pan of potatoes, and I actually do love this. Like, I legitimately love this. Okay, I'm gonna finish my dinner now, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. Lunch today is a huge bowl of Atomy instant noodles. I added an entire package of extra firm tofu cut up into these cubes, half a bag of that coleslaw mix, so a bunch of cabbage and other such vegetables. The noodles are under here somewhere. I made 2 packs, one for hubby, one for me. Topped it with kimchi, the ramen eggs, some seaweed, some sesame seeds, black and white, and also a drizzle of sesame oil. Hubby and I are going to have this for dessert. This is the Rascally Rabbit Salted Caramel Chocolate Rabbit from Soma. I got this before the lockdown, and I've been saving it for Easter. So this is going to be our little Easter treat. Up cutting the rabbit roughly in half, and I guesstimated it, but I weighed each of the halves and they are pretty much bang on. Each half is 56 grams if you include those little shavings in the bottom half, or the butt end. I'm gonna have the head and the ears and the arms, and hubby's going to have the butt, the feet, and the tail, and those little pieces there. Oh my gosh, this chocolate bunny is so good. And hubby and I like that it's solid chocolate and not hollow inside. The salted caramel is really, really nice. Hello everyone, it is Sunday today. Happy Easter. I just took an Epsom salt bath and I am so relaxed. Pardon my speaking. I have my retainer in, and I'm not that used to talking with that in anymore. It's very similar to the Invisalign, and I did end up getting used to the Invisalign for the most part, but now I barely talk when I have the retainer in. I just put on my skincare and I am all ready for bed, although I am not gonna go to sleep for a few hours yet. It's 9 p.m. now and hubby is working tonight. He'll be home probably at around 11, and I'm currently watching the Raptors playoff run still. Tonight's the night that we win the championship, so I'm really excited about that. Too bad hubby isn't here to watch with me, because that would be fun to watch that again together. They did do the healthcare salute today. Unfortunately, hubby missed that as well. They did it a few nights in a row, like a week ago, and I joined in one night. I actually took 2 lids for my pans and I clanged them together like cymbals. They were so loud, and I wasn't even trying that hard to be loud, and I screamed a bit. I really like screaming, so when the Raptors won, I was like screaming my head off, and I screamed a little bit for the healthcare workers. I also clanged my makeshift cymbals together. It was just nice to make a bunch of noise. I didn't partake today because I was already getting ready for the bath, but hopefully they'll do it again tomorrow, and then hubby can clang the cymbals. I'm reading this book by Brach. It's called Radical Acceptance: Embracing Your Life with the Heart of a Buddha. It's actually really, really good. It reminds me a lot of the teachings at that Vipassana meditation course that I went to. I'm only a few chapters in. I'm about to read chapter 5. I find this book, though, I like to read in smaller spurts just to have it kind of like sink in a little bit more. So I've been really taking my time with this book, and what I've been liking to do with this book is read it in the bath. So today I had the Epsom salt bath and I read a chapter. I read chapter 4 today, and I think that's what I'm gonna do in the weeks ahead, just read a chapter a week in the bath. This book has been a really nice part of my self-care routine, so I've been really, really enjoying that. I painted my nails. I haven't worn nail polish on my fingers or toes, which is really unusual for me. I usually always have toe polish on, but I think it's been about maybe 3 weeks that I haven't worn nail polish at all, fingers or toes. Yesterday I decided to put some on, and I'm happy I did. I mean, it was, again, a nice little self-care ritual. I've been toying around with the idea of doing like a dress-up day. I saw on Instagram this young lady that I follow. She dressed up just to stay home. She looked really beautiful, and she put on like makeup, and she just had a really nice outfit on. And I thought that might be fun to do, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to make the effort. I'm just like in such a good groove with my morning routine, and I don't know. I've been enjoying the simplicity of not wearing much makeup. I still put on a little bit of eyeshadow, my brows, my lashes, and some blush, bronzer, and highlighter. But I haven't been wearing foundation or BB cream. I haven't been doing smoky eyes or anything like that. I still put on a little bit just because I like to. And I'm also trying to use up products, but otherwise I've been really enjoying the simplicity of not putting on a lot of stuff and not wearing clothes that I feel are constricting. But maybe it would be fun to do like a little dress up. This weekend was nice, even though hubby had to work. I spent some time FaceTiming with a couple of friends on Friday and today, and I got a lot of stuff done. This was a really nice self-care weekend, whereas last weekend I felt all out of sorts for whatever reason. This weekend I also watched some stuff. I watched a documentary. I watched an interview with Malcolm Gladwell. But I don't know, it feels different this weekend. I don't feel like it was unproductive time, whereas last weekend I really felt like I was falling behind with stuff, which is odd because I don't really have anything pressing. And my state of mind, I would say, is a bit more positive and optimistic versus last weekend. I think that's a good place to end off this vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a really nice long weekend, and if you're celebrating any of the festivities or goings on that are happening right now, I hope you had a really happy and safe celebration. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Bye.